I use this simple plastic container as a mold to make a wonderful cement pot for my garden. So this video is a proof that you don't need to spend a lot of money, buy very expensive molds to make something high-end and beautiful. Please do subscribe and let's follow step by step how I made this wonderful piece of art, I would call cement piece of art. I wanted to introduce some height here to this area. As you can see, a lot of hostas are growing, but they are not tall here. So I was thinking the pot here, together with some taller plant like coleus, would be great here. It will be higher than hostas, but I didn't want to go with anything cheap. So I wanted to create something permanently beautiful, which will be here. So spring, summer and winter will not get damaged, and I will just be changing annuals here, shade-loving annuals here. So I decided to go to make another cement pot using this cheap container. Let me tell you, it was a challenge to cut it. So basically what I did, I bought this container. It was very inexpensive. It's a plastic one. I cut it in half, and I had hard time cutting it because plastic at the bottom is a little bit harder. So electrical handheld saw did finally the trick. I was trying the knife. I was trying, the saw didn't work. So finally I ended up with two parts, and the main principle is I'm going to use this as an exterior mold and another cheap container as an interior mold, and then I will pour some cement in between, let it harden, and then we'll release this mold. This way I will end up with a planter. Well, of course, drainage is very important, right? And I made this little, using milk container, these little loops, which will I will install here, and they will not let cement to go in, and they will create that drainage. It's going to be tricky because look, this is the exterior form, right? So interior form will go somewhere here. I don't like how narrow this space is. I think it's too narrow. Let me find a different form which would be narrower than this. This way walls are at least 1 inch thick, and all this is going to be filled with cement and will make this pot hopefully stable. Let me look for another container. Attempt number 2. Much smaller container, maybe too small, but this is all what I have, this little old one. So let's look again. This is exterior mold. This is interior mold. So the walls are going to be nice and thick, which is what I like, and still there would be plenty of space for the plant to grow, because this would be the growing medium, the soil, right? And in order to do the drainage, I have to install these little drainage holes which I made to this, and it will rest right here, one on this side and another on another side. Well, 2 is overkill. Let's do 1. So it will be flush with this one. I'm going to tape it, right? For cement not to go inside, and then just rest it on it, put this one together, tape it, and put all the cement in, and then when the molds have to get out, okay, when I'm opening the mold, this is going to be there, the opening, and if I cannot get this thing out, let it be stuck there, nobody's going to see it. I think it's going to work. All right, let me tape it. I usually like to put the plastic bag to line it, the mold, for the mold to be easily released. But here I think it's too tricky, so I'm going to apply oil. Let me get my glove. for this mold to be released quickly, and folks online tell me that usual cooking oil is fine. So generous application of that hopefully will do the job. We are going to see if that's true. Because usually the release of mold is the most crucial one and the most tricky one. This one. In case this form decides to get stuck there, I'm going to leave it there. Not a big if, nothing. Nobody will not notice this interior container. Yes, I will lose the container, but hey. All right, we are ready to assemble it. I'm going to put this first. So basically what I'm doing, I'm gluing it again. Which is going to be tricky. Okay, let's start from the bottom. And I'm using this painter's tape. Not sure if this one is the one to use. No, it's not. What are we going to use? Let me get another tape. Because this is quick set cement, I have a very narrow window to work with, which is kind of, fun. But for some people it can be a point of stress. So I'm going to wait till cement starts to harden a little bit so it's not very runny, because I don't want all these crevices to collect that extra cement, and then I will fill it in. I really underestimated how much mortar mix I would need, so I'm going to go back to the store, buy another bag, and finish all the way to the top, since I want my urn to be nice and good size in the garden. And because the walls are, oh my gosh, 2.5 inches thick, I don't mind it, because I'm keeping this container through the whole seasons, 4 seasons, winter in the garden, so I don't mind that the walls are thick. Is going to withstand all the pressure of winter, and I will have this, hopefully something very interesting in the garden very soon. So off I go, and let's see what we can create here. And the beauty of these projects is that I can make them according to the need of my garden. For example, here, this urn, I need to add a little bit height to my woodland area right there. So I'm making what I want. For my patio, which also needs height, so I'm investing into it. I'm going to make another water container, and you know what the name of the water container will be? A girl on a swing. I'm not sure if I would be able to pull it through, but the idea of it is beautiful. I will keep you posted again, so do subscribe to keep track of all the wonderful things happening in my garden. All right, this is hardening. I'm just waiting for it to harden to the point where I can handle it, and I'm going to open it, so the big reveal will happen. I don't know. Let me, you know what? Let me make this, freeze this rim before it's too late. How wonderful it is to live and create. Wow. Perfectly imperfect. Now let's do another side. I have to be careful because the top is not 100% hardened. Here I have a kettle with boiling water. You were telling me that it's going to work, and I saw other people, other cement folks. Maybe what it does, it enlarges this form, the plastic, and it gets off easier. Wait, hold on. Or I have to apply it between cement and this. Let's see. That's the case? Oh, come on, seriously? This is not funny. No. All right, I did it. All right, let it sit for good several hours. Now it can get nice and rock hard, and then the magic will begin, and I will start putting nice touches onto this, onto that urn. Let's turn it around. Oh, I forgot about the interior beauty. Oh, that's a beauty. How do I get this out? Shenanigans continue, you know? I can't get this out now. All right, let me try again with the hot boiling water. If that doesn't work, I'm going to cover it with my extra cement and we'll leave it inside. Because I do have a hole here. Look at this. Right there. There is a hole. Well, let me clean all this mess. We'll see you in 2 hours. Here, the most wonderful step, which makes the whole world of a difference, is to apply this concrete stain. And again, there are so many different colors to choose from. I'm using just this one, and because I want the body of the pot to be slightly darker, for that new details which I will add eventually would be popping up a little bit, it would be lighter in color. So I'm applying the stain first here, and then second layer of stain I will apply to all the pot. This way the original body is a little bit darker. So here we go. So eventually the surface of my pot is going to look like this surface, and this looks permanently aged and old, although I made this project last fall, so not very old. The same story with this one. And by the way, birds do love this container here, this water, although they are afraid of this water fountain. We were traveling for several days, and I took this water fountain out and I left water in. Listen, birds loved to bathe in it. Robins would come on a regular basis. And then when I put the fountain back, they would get spooked off and they would never fly here again, unfortunately. But I enjoy this water here. So look, aged one. So the same is happening here right now. Everything is getting reacted here on the surface. It's already looking dark, right? And in order to execute this lovely little step, you would need simple pastry bag. Yes. You're going to pipe your cement through all this stuff. And there are plenty of opportunities to use different design and different options, including bigger cuts, smaller cuts, finer details. The only suggestion I would have, if you want very fine details, use pure cement. I'm using Mortar mix, which is basically the mix of cement, sand, and lime. And I think because the details are not super small, I don't want that area here. The shadow will take away the small details a little bit. They're not going to be very noticeable. So I want my details to be big, bold, easily recognized there. That's why I'm using my sand and cement. Okay, so it's easier for me to think and create and not to talk. So you're going just to watch me creating. And so the big reveal is here. Lovely, lovely. Well, this is heavy. This is so heavy. So if you want to do something like this, the cement planter and with such thick walls, plan for it to be a permanent feature in the garden. Me and my husband, we had to place it on this plastic, both 4 hands, and we had difficulties picking it up. So I'm going to plant it out already there, let it sit for several days here, get it adjusted. We will move it there, and there I will plant beautiful coleus that I will show you. Look how colorful it is. Right here, look. You see? It's going to look so lovely. But this is going to happen in several days. Usually the cement releases a lot of alkalinity, so it's not advised to plant right away into that medium, but my pot is stuck there and nobody knows about it. Hoo-hoo. So that will serve as a protection against all the alkalinity coming from cement. Double bonus, right? And in case you want to enhance your pot, what I did, I applied this acrylic paint, and you can do different colors. Some people are so skillful with that online. I just applied the dry brush black one, and it's very satisfying. Of course, if I leave it without protection, it's going to be washed out. So a good cement sealer, also to protect this urn against all the elements, because there are so many different crevices for the water to go in, right? So here it is, another addition to my beautiful garden. And in case you want to check all the other things I did, right now I'm looking in my birdhouse, which needs to be placed somewhere, but that's the story for another video. Be good and have a lovely day. Happy gardening.